Hi there, good evening, and welcome to my presentation for managerial accounting. I apologize for the setup. I did try to record on Teams, however, I had issues with volume. I will still send that video over, however, I'm not sure if the volume will work for your laptop. So welcome to my presentation on the Baby Toon. My name is Emma, and this is the introduction. So I chose the Baby Toon for many reasons. First of all, it was created by Cassidy Crowley, who was a sweet little 10-year-old at the time. It is a silicone spoon in the shape of an animal. She makes different sizes such as a koala, alligator, and elephant. It's made for babies or children who are learning how to hold spoon or starting solids, soups, and solids as well. As we can see, it's uniquely designed in a way babies can hold a spoon. As you can see, there's about 3 different handles, and the baby can choose which one if it's best. So Cassidy received a deal from Lori for $50,000 for 50% of her company. It was created by a little girl with big dreams and aspirations for her product. So learning more about Cassidy, at the same time, Cassidy was only 10, making her an eye-catching on Shark Tank. She had a wonderful pitch, leading it all by herself. Her mom was also there at the pitch, but Cassidy answered all the questions herself from the sharks. So it was first created by a prototype that Cassidy did for a school project. The main issue she focused on was she was worried about her sister and other babies choking on plastic small spoons. She wanted to create a cute, big enough, unique spoon for kids to enjoy and parents worry less. So talking about my internal analysis, I found an article by Erica Olson, which I thought was very interesting. She talks about internal factors such as organizational resources, organizational capabilities, and human resources, which are also known as employees, and measuring them. Employee surveys, customer surveys, business strategies, and record lists and resources for capabilities. So we can apply them to Cassidy, for example, her tangible resources, products, materials, distributors, and suppliers, and intangible resources, connections, and brand images. We'll just continue on with that. Cassidy can ask questions such as, what resources does she have access to? What's her target audience? What is her brand capable of? How will she attract the right kind of employees and designated customers? External analysis. Factors recommended by Olson. External factors such as market trends, industry data trends, and operating trends. Applying that to Cassidy, she can create a vibrant target market approved for social media, scope out competitors to work with above and beyond, put products in kids' toys aisle so it can come across as a toy, and consider economic shifts when planning out her business. So we learned also about the SWOT analysis in marketing, so I thought it would be interesting to implement it here. As for her strengths, she's new and innovative, aesthetically pleasing, practical, and affordable. As for weaknesses, lower revenue, one product, it's out of stock on the website, unfortunately. It is sold on Amazon and other online distributors. Some opportunities we can see, she has a very sweet image. She can attract new parents, and she did attract new brands such as Munchkin, which she made a deal with. Some threats include competitors with more ideas and product lookalikes, older owners, more experience, cheaper. Fortunately, Cassidy did have some patents during the Shark Tank. Issue number 1, poor choice of operating expenses. So, as we know, Cassidy must pay Shark partner Lori Greener 50% of her company. Cuts from deals made with Munchkin, her partner. She's very young, so less autonomy to make business decisions while understanding them. Distributors, machine utilities, suppliers, and marketing fees of one product. So issue 1 solution. Since Cassidy's mom was heavily invested in helping her start Baby Toon, the mother could have made a deal for $50,000 while giving Shark 30 to 35% of the company, as now the net worth is $1 million. This lets Cassidy continue a normal life while being involved in her business and having most of it take over when she's done with school. Cassidy could create an MOH which would help her understand and measure actual versus allocated jobs to better understand business and seeing her operating income. Issue number 2, poor strategy for average cost. During Shark Tank, Baby Toon originally sold for $15. She let sharks know that it cost about $6.60 to make. To this day, unfortunately, the price has decreased from $15 to $6, which is good for customers, but not good for Cassidy. Obviously, the math here doesn't make sense. Online, unfortunately, there's not much new information about how much it costs to make nowadays, but we can assume that the materials have been bulk manufactured to create. That makes us question the quality, and is it no longer a desired product? Solution to issue 2. Since Cassidy is struggling to find a solution, she can follow this 5-step process for determining average cost from the textbook. Summarize the flow of physical units. Step 2, compute outputs in terms of equivalent units. Step 3, summarize total costs for accounts for. Step 4, compute the cost per equivalent unit. And step 5, assign total cost to units completed and units ending in work in progress inventory. Issue number 3, poor strategy of margin safety. So in my report, I talk about a quote, which is just the definition, which is defined as a cushion drop in sales. We basically learned that the higher is better, lower is not. Generally, in a quote by Wall Street Pep, the majority of value investors will not invest in a security unless MOS is created to be around 20 to 30%. For example, if Cassidy's MOS is 27%, she has 27% of her business loss to move around with, as per se the cushion. So if she goes just below 27, she'll be break even, and then anything less, then we begin to see losses. So she should aim for a higher MOS as she is struggling with prices. So the solution to that would be an article I found by Kieran Johnson, which states 2 solutions, which is to reduce costs and increase revenue. So for the costs, removing product lines or services with the lowest profit margins, producing more units with the same resources, and buying infrastructure such as software as a service as opposed to buying it outright. Revenue, increasing the product of goods or services, introducing a new pricing structure, and growing out your marketing campaign. These are all precautions Cassidy can take when evaluating the problem. So, as for the best solution, we have to talk about safety concerns. So, Cassidy does do a pretty good job in making the Baby Toon seem very safe, which it is. However, there are many, many warnings on the back, which I do talk about in my report. So we can understand process costing, which creates a better product for all. This is a very important part of managerial accounting, as it accounts for many, many steps. For example, the black fly that I talk about in my report, that is an example in the textbook. It demonstrates all the processes that they used. So, while the Baby Toon has done a great job in marketing, like I said, to prevent safety, there's a few methods that they can ensure to make more safety in a marketing addition to increase profits. So Cassidy does talk about, during Shark Tank, different types of silicone and different densities. She was still not sure during the process which one. As for the warnings, I would suggest the hardest silicone out there that is FDA approved and 100%. Because this will lessen the risk of the babies chewing pieces off, which would leave food to get stuck in between the cracks of the silicone, creating a breeding ground for bacteria, which is really bad for babies. It is also marketed as a teether, so it's very important that they do not have any extra cracks, or the baby is able to just eat it for lunch. And also, during the Shark Tank, a safety wristband was implemented by the mom. In Shark Tank, Cassidy's mom could be seen demonstrating a clip-on band attached to the spoon to the baby's wrist when searching for the product online. However, when you search for it online, the band does not come with it. So is that some sort of false advertising? We need to ask ourselves. Risk and implementation. So I'll just read a quote from my report that explains it the best. This would take some time to find a new density of silicone that produces the same, if not better, style and quality, and a manufacturer to implement bracelets. The budget to improve bid strategy, overall product would go up as the customer is getting another function and more employees would need to be hired to fill in the gap. With that, of course, comes risk, meaning talking to your target market and getting feedback before these changes are made are essential. Customer issues may arise if changes are not clarified, especially repeat buyers of the baby Toon. If customers do not seem happy and do not seem willing to pay, alternate solutions for the product should be made and available as soon as possible. So thank you for watching, and please note that all my sources are documented on the report. Thank you and have a nice night.